welcome to Make Your Passion Pay. I'm Luann Beekler, creator of the Make Your Passion Pay Playbook, your host and guide on this exciting journey to building joyful and successful work environments. Known as the Little Spark, I've helped countless individuals and businesses ignite their potential through transformational coaching, creating thriving businesses and joyful workplaces. I have experienced the challenges of leaving toxic workplaces and building something better. I bring firsthand wisdom to help you align your work with your values. With insights drawn from working alongside world-renowned leaders and a deep passion for community and connection, I'm here to show you how to lead with joy and purpose. Let's dive into today's episode and start making your passion pay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Make Your Passion Pay podcast, where we talk about the 6 C's in the playbook to making your passions pay. And that is clarity, connection, community, collaboration, creativity, and commitment. And I'm super excited to share with you my guest today, Paul Lagerstedt. He is an inventor, systems thinker, and co-founder of Alkaa, and trust me, a very creative guy. The first patent in glass sachet, is that how you pronounce it?
That's it. You got it.
Designed to reduce trace compounds in alcohol beverages before you sip. And the benefit of that, Paul, right, is removing toxins from not removing the alcohol, but removing other toxins in the drink that adversely affect our health and the way we feel the next day, right?
You got it. You nailed it.
Welcome, Paul. Welcome. I am so curious of your life's journey, your career that brought you from, what was it, a diesel engineer?
Diesel mechanic and sales guy turned, inventor in the alcohol realm. It's been a crazy journey, Luann.
We love to hear about crazy journeys. Tell us more.
Oh, so for years, it was just a personal project I started working on. I did not feel good after I drank. And everything that I did was in moderation, maybe a couple beers or a couple glasses of wine. And I would just pay the price every single time. And sometimes I would try to, I guess it would chase off those negative, feelings of headaches or flushing or poor sleep with ibuprofen before I drank, or charcoal pills. And then I tried a bunch of the things you can get online, right? The before you drink vitamins or potions, or the after you drink, fizzies, or I tried a lot of stuff, Luann, and it wasn't consistent. Nothing really worked.
Wow. Well, right, that is the consistent. Nothing really worked.
Yeah.
Right? That drove look for something else.
Yeah. And that was where I just started looking around and seeing that everything that I was buying treated the body. It was usually trying to be reactive to the alcohol, right? And that just wasn't working. So Alkaa was born after just kind of thinking about why do people feel so, why do you get a red wine headache, right? Like why? That's where the diesel mechanic part kind of came in. Like and just being, a guy who likes to fix things, like there's a known problem, and it's not just me. It's hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people really, that are like, I just don't feel good after I drink. Why is that? And I thought it was the alcohol that was the problem, the ethanol, or dehydration. Those were the two main. I think even today, if you type into Google, why do I get a red wine headache? It will be, it's the ethanol You're dehydrated. And then how do you solve this problem? They will be like, drink more water or stop drinking alcohol.
Right.
That was it. And the stopping drinking does work because, well, you eliminate the alcohol from your life, and I mean, really, you do feel better overall. But so many of us like to drink because it's enjoyable, and to see that our connection with the alcohol itself on a personal level, but you've been to girls' night out or date night or a wedding or a football game, or like
Right.
alcohol is a social, like we really do connect as humans over that. And now, not paying that, what I call that alcohol tax, right? Like if you drink, you're paying the tax, and that
Right.
tax is either a horrible night's sleep, um, or flushing, or congestion, or nausea, or that next day general malaise feeling, aka the hangover, right? And not from over drinking, just from a couple, maybe a glass of wine, and you just pay that price. Why? And do we need to?
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently not. Apparently you found an answer.
We found an answer, and it was a kind of a funny one. It was it, when you make alcohol, whether it's fermented like a beer or a wine, or whether it's distilled like a whiskey or a vodka, there's natural trace compounds that happen. So sugar and yeast to get together, they have their party, they make alcohol. But along with that, you have sulfites, histamines, tannins, tyramine, phenethylamine. There's basically seven that are responsible for how you feel afterwards. Now, here's the caveat. If you overdrink, like like I think we've probably all been there, where you just drink too much,
Right.
Alka isn't going to help. Um, but for those that enjoy in moderation, and you just want to have a glass of wine on a date night and not wake up with a headache, if we reduce considerably those compounds, and these compounds are known, to cause 40 plus alcohol intolerance symptoms, again, from a simple flushing of the face to rashes, nausea, congestion, um, headaches, cocktail headaches, which is like some people get a wine headache really quick within minutes. That's called a cocktail headache. Um, so there's just all of these different symptoms that are caused by these seven compounds. When we reduce or eliminate them, Luann, it's a total game changer. It is so enjoyable to just not stress about how you're going to feel after a beer. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just had an aha in
Yeah.
that the women in my family have a tendency to really get that red flush look right
Yes.
away, noticeable to
Hmm.
others in the room,
Yeah.
And so, of course, no woman wants that, right?
No, no.
You look like
That's
you're having a
Sarah.
hot flash.
Yeah. Sarah, my wife, that was her number one issue. What was the not the hot flash, but
Red
that
flush
redness,
look.
that flushing, especially if you're
Yeah.
at a wedding, right?
Yeah.
You have a glass of wine, and then you're beet red, and then
Going,
you
are you okay?
exactly. So solving those, I'll call that, those issues, has been a really interesting journey, because it does allow you to de-stress that process of, yeah, I really do want to enjoy a glass of wine with my girlfriends,
Yeah.
or a beer with my guy friends.
Right.
Um, and the other part that was kind of interesting is that different alcohols would affect me differently. So a wine would give me almost an instant headache. A beer would make me sweat really bad, like almost instantly. And then I would get super, super tired, fatigued. Like I would be like, man, I'm out with the guys, we're watching a game, and I feel like I need to go take a nap, right? And
Uh,
then a whiskey or a beer would give me like heartburn, a little bit of nausea, and then just really awful sleep that night, which I thought was interesting, which led me to believe that is it the alcohol doing that? Come to find out, not the alcohol. It's all those trace compounds.
All those other toxins in
I
there.
know.
Yeah. So interesting. So explain a sachet.
Sure. A
Maybe
sachet is a fancy word for a tea bag. So I'm just going to hold this up here really quick. It's just
it
this little guy right here.
looks just like a tea bag, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got 5 ingredients in it that are designed to capture those 7 trace compounds that we talked about. And it captures it like this. And this was new to me when I first started diving into the sciencey part. There's absorption and adsorption. So absorption is like a sponge. You think of a sponge, you put a sponge in water, it absorbs the water. The water goes like into the sponge and you can
Yeah.
squeeze it out.
Yeah.
Alkaa uses adsorption. So adsorption, think of like a magnet, and you put a magnet down by some nails, and the magnet will the nails will stick to the magnet, but
Yeah.
they won't really be absorbed by them. The magnet won't absorb them, right? Then you can
Right.
take and you can just kind of scrape the nails off. So the ingredients in here, some of which are really, like activated charcoal.
Right.
That's a adsorption or an adsorber. So it has a really interesting surface area, right? And I think most of us have activated charcoal at home in case one of the grandkids or one of the kids that somebody swallows poison, right? You're like, give them activated charcoal because it
Right.
absorbs the toxins.
Right.
So these ingredients are on their own, Luann, they do okay, but together when they're in the sachet, it's they work really well together. And when you put this in the glass, the fluid has to flow over these ingredients,
Yeah.
and then they will capture those tannins, histamines, acetaldehyde, congeners, phenethylamine, quercetin, and when it captures those. And here's the thing: it takes 2 things. It takes 5 minutes. So you're slowing down your drinking ritual. It takes 5 minutes. So we set our timers. We're like, Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. Put the sachet in, and then it takes movement. So the alcohol needs to flow through the sachet,
Okay.
right? And there needs to be some gentle swirling. So you're forcing yourself to kind of slow down and be very
While you
thorough.
let your red wine breathe.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gently swirling and you're giving it 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes is done, you can take your sachet out and you've got a glass of wine or a dram of whiskey or a glass of beer that is not going to cause you any pain.
Love that. So, as was my first question when we talked before, I know it's plenty of my audience might ask the same question.
Mhm.
Does it change the flavor? And I'm here to tell you, I've tried it and it does not change the flavor of your beverage.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we have noticed that in our discussion, I mentioned that we do extract tannins from wine, and tannins are responsible for flavor. So if you keep that sachet in for longer than 10 minutes, Luann, it will really start to smooth out the wine.
Ah,
And some could see that as a taste change, right? I don't mind. I keep my sachet in for usually 10 minutes in wine just because I'm super sensitive and I don't want to take any chances.
yeah.
But if you don't remove it after 5 minutes, it will extract quite a bit of the tannins. Some of the testing that we've done on a 10-minute sit time, you're up to over 70% tannin reduction. And again, for me, I don't really mind. But if you're a connoisseur of really nice wine,
Yeah.
that's really important to note. Take it out after that 5 minutes.
Well, therein lies another great point, right? If you're a connoisseur of wine, wine taster, right, those can get out of hand easy, right?
You're right.
A bunch of different wines, if you can use that
Yeah.
sachet, in each glass before you taste it, and you can reuse it. How many times?
Just one time.
Just
And
one
you
time.
need to, and you up that sit time to 10 minutes.
Got you.
Yep.
First time 5 minutes, second time 10 minutes, and that's the life of the sachet.
That's it. It's pretty much full after that. And it's interesting because it does absorb quite a bit. And that's the process. And it's a new, Sarah and I refer to it as drinking wellness, and intentional drinking. Instead of just ordering and drinking, you're ordering and now you're pausing, you're being intentional.
Right,
You're
right,
waiting
right.
your 5 minutes, and then a lot of our customers, they've kind of really appreciated that. They're like, it makes me think about what I'm doing. How
I
many
think
glasses have I had? And the fact afterward that you don't feel awful is just, it's so lovely to be able to enjoy something that I think was created for us to feel good and happy and not pay the price afterward.
right. I
Yeah.
have two other questions that came
Okay.
to me. So also to be clear, it is not removing any alcohol content. So
Correct.
it doesn't mean you can drink more and feel less effects of the alcohol.
You nailed it.
Not to save you from, drinking too much at all. Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with that. It has to do with those specific people who really can hardly tolerate that without feeling some pain right away,
Mhm.
and giving them a way to have that opportunity to have social connection and
Yeah.
sharing a glass of wine with friends and family or business, right? You go to a business dinner, they
So
offer you a
true.
glass of wine.
Yeah.
You know how it's going to make you feel, but you don't want to refuse to your host. Yeah, probably makes for great, interesting dinner conversation too.
It really
If you
does.
take
Yeah.
out a little tea
If you,
packet, put it in your wine.
it is definitely a conversation starter.
I'm sure. So, uh, what if they're drinking mixed drinks,
Hmm.
as from something as simple as a rum and coke
Yeah.
or a vodka tonic, right? Or something more extreme, like fruity things or uh what?
Yeah. You've got
The Kahlua and
margaritas.
cream. If I do a
Yeah.
Kahlua and cream, right? What does that cream change the result?
Good question. So Alka, the Alka sachet works in wine. And we talk about wine a lot because wine just seems to be the number one problem causer out there.
Sure.
Wine, beer, spirits, and cocktails.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we've also done testing in coffee, tea, soy sauce, and Worcestershire sauce
Interesting.
because coffee, tea, and soy and Worcestershire have tannins, coffee acid, tyramines
Hmm.
in there as well. So to answer your question, Alka works in not just all the alcohols, but especially those that are mixed with sugary type ingredients. So a margarita, I love a good margarita, but they
Hmm.
would just get between the tequila and the sugar, and it's mixed together, and oh man, my head would just be pounding. Not anymore. It needs its 5 minutes. It needs gentle swirling, and you will be amazed at there's zero taste change, but no after effects of sweating, pain, headaches. Gone.
Fantastic. That's
Yeah.
amazing. All right, let's go back to the business side of this,
Yep.
right? In the
Yep.
sense of this must have taken a lot of testing, a lot of trial and error. How does one get the investment and the tools to do that?
Luann, that's a good question. That it takes time and it does take money and it takes resilience for sure. So, my life as a diesel mechanic transitioned into my life as a working for a manufacturing company. So I did that for about 25 years in the safety industry,
Yeah.
where I learned a lot about testing and a
Ah,
lot about, we sold life safety equipment. So it was very important to do things the right way, right? And so with Alka, I just built it for me. When I started the journey, it was just for me. Like, man, I just don't want to feel awful after I drink. So let's try to solve this problem. And it fairly quickly turned into, hey, this could be a business, because the more I talk about it, the more friends and family, or people at the bar, when they see us putting a tea bag into our beer, or they would come up and be like, "What are you doing? Why are you putting a tea bag in your beer?" So it was sort of conversation about, well, we're working on a product that we invented that strips this and this and allows you to drink without feeling, the after effects. So there was a lot of genuine interest from people. They're like, take my number and let me know when it's done, because I just feel awful after I drink. So there was a market. We saw that there was
market.
a pretty big market for people to just feel better after they drink. So then you start looking at, how do you start a business like this, Luana? What is what's the product? What category are you in? How do you test it? So we just and this
You
is oh, go ahead.
trademark, patent it. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
we
you've done
did.
those things.
We have, yeah. So we got the patent, and that took almost 3 years.
Yeah.
From when we started to when we actually got the patent. Was it just over 3 years or just under? It was right around there. So, and that whole time you're shelling out money for the patent, to the patent attorney. And during that time too, we're also doing a ton of testing. So we found a laboratory that um, that could confirm how I felt. Because after about 18 months, I came up with the not the final recipe, but pretty like 95%. I was like, okay, we've got something that's working.
Yeah.
It was working for me. It was working for Sarah, my wife. It was working for my brother, who was helping me test it, some close friends and family. Um, I'm like, okay, now, now what? How do we, if it's working on a, like, if I asked you, is it working, Luann? And you're like, yeah, I feel great, but you just can't sell it on, my friend says it works. We need some
Yeah.
numbers. So we found a laboratory that could do the
How do
before
you,
and after levels.
how do you find a laboratory like that?
This was good old fashioned Google back in the day. Luann, no AI. It was just I think I Googled alcohol testing or laboratory that will help me test histamine levels in alcohol, and I actually sent it to a company, and then that company sends it out to laboratories all over the world with your protocol to see if there's something, if somebody pings
Right.
back that says, yeah, I can do that. So we actually found a lab in Seattle who specialized in food and drink testing. So we got on the phone with them, and they're like, yeah, we can do this. We can take the before, let's just say histamine. We can do histamine levels in wine.
Sure.
And I'm like, so if we take the before level, then we put the sachet in, we do the 5 minute, the stir, and then we can take the after level. And they're
Sure.
like, absolutely. So we started doing testing, and that was very nerve-wracking, because you just don't know until you see the numbers. And then the numbers came back, and it was it was
And
they were
confirm your hypothesis, so to speak.
exactly. So the patent is working on its end. Sarah and I are bootstrapping it the whole time, right? We've got our day jobs. Um, we're bootstrapping. We've got the patent, and so instead of going after VC money or investment money, it's going to take a little
Explain
bit longer. Oh,
money.
a venture capitalist, going
Yep.
after investors, right? So
There are
instead of
going.
instead of
Yeah.
doing that route, because we wanted to, this is a whole new category. You get investors, and then we'd be like, how many of you sold, and how come you haven't sold more? That's kind of the way it goes, right? How are we going to get more sales? We're like, we need to really build this the right way, this foundation, to be able to scale. And so it's been 4 years, and we're just starting to really have that foundation built to where we can manufacture we have, right, our logos, our brand guidelines, the patent, um, the category, our FDA attorneys. Like, you just kind of have to have the whole ecosystem ready before you can really take off.
Okay, I
And
want
now
you
we're,
to say that
yeah,
again. You have to have the whole ecosystem ready before you can take off.
yeah,
And this is to protect what you've created from anyone else taking it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
More actually, the
was the
patent will do that.
was the patent attorney a first stop? When you saw that you had a product you were going to take to market, did
Yeah,
you start there? I
yeah,
want
we
a place
did.
for my people to start. And I have a client who started there on
Hmm.
something she's developing, and I've always wondered, is that the very first step?
That
Patent.
was one of the first steps,
Yeah.
Luann. We we looked at Alka from the aspect of, is this patentable, and would it help sell if it did have a patent number behind it? Because
Mhm.
in this, I'm asking you to buy this product at a premium, right? It's like, let's just say $4 a sachet, and and trust me enough that A, it's going to work, and then B, I'm asking you to put this in your drink and stir it, and then drink your drink. So
Right.
there's a lot of trust behind it,
A lot of trust. Yeah.
Sarah and I thought that, or we believed, I should say, that the patent would really help that. So we've got the lab, we got results,
Credibility. Another
got the
C word.
credibility. Yeah.
It gives you
Um,
credibility and
it really
authority.
does. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean that we waited for the patent in order to start selling.
I
We
understand.
started we started manufacturing and selling pretty quickly, after we had counsel, right? Go ahead.
There's value in having a patent attorney on your team before you start selling, though. Even though it's not officially patent yet, it
Yes.
says to the world, I was here first.
It says patent pending, which
Yeah,
means that you're
yeah,
doing your due diligence.
that's right.
And
That's right.
yeah, and that added credibility too. But during that time, the patent attorney is like, you cannot tell people what's in it. And so we're like, okay, well, let's build even more trust. Because some people would be like, well, what's in it? And we're like, we can't tell you yet, but you just need to trust me.
Yeah, right?
So it was
And
a little tricky.
consume something that you've put this packet in. Yeah,
I
I can
know.
see where that would be.
So you learn resilience. You learn, that some people will just not buy your product because they don't trust you, and that can kind of sting. But that's just life, right?
I am apparently just a trustworthy person. When I connected with Paul, right? Did we connect originally on Podmatch?
Yep.
His team sent me samples. I didn't hesitate. I'm like, let's try this thing. Super cool. Only to find out my best friend from high school who lives in another state, and I'm telling her about it recently. She's going, oh, yeah, I've tried that. My friend bought me some as a gift. And I'm like,
No way. It's happening.
it's
Thank you for
happening,
telling
Paul.
me that.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is awesome.
it's
So
happening.
it takes time, Luann, and we've had a couple really fun, good mentors that have helped us through just being patient. And you go through good times and bad times. Some days, Sarah and I are like, oh man, I'm just exhausted.
Well,
And
and
other
you
days,
put another dollar into this. Like
I
you
know.
probably spent a lot of your own money getting up to a point where
Yeah.
it was a sellable product.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it doesn't stop. You still need to order all the stuff and the tins and the packing and pay the website people and the attorneys, and but it's when you believe in it and you are passionate about it, and I think we're very passionate about, I know how good I feel now, that I just want others to feel, just to feel that feeling once of waking up on a Sunday morning after imbibing on Saturday night, and you're just ready to go and ready to take on the day with your family or friends. or just have an enjoyable morning without trying to
Right.
cure your headache.
It's, oh, absolutely. Okay, hold that box up again so everybody can see it, right? That name shows up well. It's spelled Alkaa.
You got it.
How many sachets are in a container?
We have got 12 in a container.
And where can people buy it? Do they need to come straight to your website for now?
Alkaa.com is the best place.
Awesome.
Yep, Alkaa.com. And if anybody has any questions, they can email us. Sarah and I monitor the email. I don't want to say 24/7, but pretty much 24/7. This is our livelihood. So we are there. We've got our phone number there if anybody has questions, or if they're just concerned about, again, we're asking people to really put their trust in the product, and we're here to help them with that. And if for some reason Alkaa doesn't work, Sarah and I do a 100% money back guarantee, no issues, no questions asked, unless you want to tell us, right?
Sure.
What happened. But it's a new category, it's a new product, takes some education, and those two things, 5 minutes and a little bit of swirling, it's gonna solve a lot of problems.
So there's another question that came up, right? How did you establish pricing?
Oh, okay. Man, how do you establish pricing, Luann? Let me ask you this, and this is a very common question on podcasts. Let's just say you go out with your girls on Saturday night and you have a couple glasses of wine,
Yeah.
no Alkaa, right? And you wake up Sunday morning with that feeling of like, oh man,
Right.
my day is pretty much shot.
Right.
If I asked you, Luann, open up your wallet and give me your debit card, how much would you pay for that feeling to A, go away, and then B, to have the whole rest of the day ready to go? Just curious, what would you pay to basically get rid of a nasty hangover?
I don't know. That's a really great question.
Would you pay more than a cup of coffee from Starbucks?
Oh yeah.
How much is a cup of coffee at Starbucks?
Well, I don't drink coffee, but I'm gonna guess like $8.
Yeah. So we're about half that. So we're about $4 a sachet, and you can use it twice. So it's
$4.
basically $2 a drink.
I got you. I got you where you're going.
Yeah. So we put the value on. We want to make it accessible, but also put value on it too,
Of course.
right? And a lot of times you can't put value on something until you get people in that brain, in that mindset of like, and for me it was, how much would I pay to have my Sunday with my kids and watch the football game instead of nursing a hangover and being irritated with everything? For me, it was $100.
Take a nap.
Exactly. For me, it was $100. I'd be like, I would pay $100 to
Almost
have
said
my whole day.
$100. I gotta be clear.
That's the most.
$100.
That's the most common answer is $100.
Is it?
Yeah,
Well,
and we're at 4.
And you answered this completely different than I expected. Historically, right, in business, I would say they would tell you got to assess how much it's costing you to produce it, then do a markup.
Exactly. That's what I did my whole life.
What revenue you want to make and put it out there that way, but that's not what you did.
No.
You said, what are my customers going to be willing to invest to have a better day?
Yeah. We did a study.
I be willing to invest, therefore extrapolating to my customers.
Yeah.
And you keep saying this is a new category, but I feel like there's other things out there, like the morning after kind of a pill, not for pregnancy, but for this very problem.
Yeah.
And other things like that.
Yep.
Out there. Is that true? Or
it's true, but those treat the body.
Got you. That's what you said at the beginning.
We treat the drink.
We treat the drink.
And not just wine. because there are products that are just very wine specific. There's drops and there's little stir sticks, but they just treat like sulfites and histamines. I tried them. They don't work that well. Alkaa treats the drink, but all alcohols. And that's
all
the
toxins in the drink,
yeah.
not just
Yeah.
one or two. All of them.
No, the big, what I call the big seven that are responsible for most of the awful feelings that we have. So that we just did a recent study, Luann, which is interesting. And these are people that have never used Alkaa, never seen Alkaa, but we asked them all these questions about what would you pay? Kind of like that question I asked you, like what would you pay to get rid of a hangover? And they came back with the average, people are willing to pay $7 a sachet that have never even heard, seen, right? And we're less than that. And then if you use it twice, we're even less than that. So we again try to make it accessible and reasonable. But with that, it's also
So
party.
you sell the $7 ones at the bar, one
Exactly.
sachet at a time, maybe two, and they're gonna buy them.
You nailed it.
Oh my gosh, what a future.
Sarah and I were just literally before this podcast working on our single pack pricing.
I love it.
Yep.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Paul, you are a delight.
Oh, thank you.
You're an inspiration. You all heard him say that you can reach out to him through his website, that they're very acutely watching their emails. I'm sure I could say that not only to ask questions about Alkaa, but about developing a product from the ground up like he has done. And is it a fit for you? I just met a woman earlier that I'm going to have on in the future who talks about really identifying, is owning a business, is building a business the right fit for you and your goals and your personality. So look forward to that one coming out. So again, we're talking about connection through intentionality, connection to self and others, Paul says.
Yep.
And Paul created Alkaa to help people invest in their wellness without giving up the social connections they love. And I just love that quote from Paul. Paul, gosh, I hope we can do this again sometime. Such a delight. Check in with you, see how things are going. Because if you're excited that my friend in another state knew about it before I told her, then that's great news for you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Spreading.
Yeah.
And we love to spread the word more for you by sharing our podcast. You share the podcast with your audience and we'll support each other. That's called collaboration.
Thanks, Luann.
I love it so much. All right, until we meet again on Make Your Passions Pay, go out, live your passions, and above all things, have fun.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to Make Your Passion Pay. If today's episode inspired you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a rating, and share your thoughts in a review. Every listener makes a difference in spreading this mission of joy and purpose. Want to take the next step? Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, or anyone looking to build a thriving, values-driven workplace. Together, we can create communities where passion fuels success. Until next time, remember, when you lead with joy, you inspire greatness. Let's keep making your passion pay.